Hi everybody, my name is Carissa Barker and welcome to my YouTube channel.
And all I wanna know, are you thinking about me? I just gotta know. I just gotta know.
In today's video, I'm going to be telling you a little story time of my first love. That whole experience, how we met, how we started dating, how I fell in love, you know. All that fun stuff. Who doesn't love a little bit of romance and a good story time? So we met at the end of my sophomore year in high school. At that time I was working at a little sandwich shop and I'd taken like 4 weeks off, like 3 or 4 weeks off of work because I was in a musical. So anyway, the first time that we met was my first day back at work after that like 3-week period of time that I had taken off. And I showed up at work and I remember it very vividly. I walked in the back door, like hung up my jacket or whatever, and he was standing there doing dishes. And when I saw him, my first thought was just like, holy crap, this guy is so handsome. And like we locked eyes, he smiled at me, I smiled back, and then like it was just kind of, I don't know, like one of those moments where I kind of just like knew that he was gonna be important to me somehow. Then we ended up working together a lot. Like we would close together at least 3 or 4 times a week, and at this specific place there was only 2 people who would close together, and so we would be alone for hours and hours just being able to talk and get to know each other. And like we became really good friends, honestly, like throughout this experience. And I remember thinking like that I really liked him and I wanted to date him, but I was like, ah crap, I can't date somebody that I work with because then what if it doesn't work out? Like it'll be so awkward if we still have to see each other all the time. And so I just kept trying to like brush it off and be like, no, I don't like him, or like it's fine, like we're just friends, you know. But I really liked him a lot. Anyway, I remember the very first time we texted, I had gotten his phone number off of like the employee list because we all had each other's phone numbers, but I texted him and asked him if he would cover a shift for me. And he texted back and he said, yeah, I can, but you owe me, winky face. And I like freaked out and I was like overthinking things, and I was like, he said winky face, does that mean he likes me? Like, you know, and I was a sophomore in high school, like I was, you know, very young. And anyway, so yeah, then we ended up kind of starting to text occasionally, not even just about work stuff, but just to talk. And after we'd like get off work even, we'd stay outside and like we'd lock the doors and everything, and we'd just go back there and we'd talk for even hours more. It was the very end of my sophomore year, so it was pretty warm and we were able to just like stay outside and it wasn't like a big deal. But I really liked this guy and I liked being around him, all that stuff. So then I found out that he was actually quitting because he got a better job for the summer that was gonna pay way more. And so then I was like really sad. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm never gonna see this guy again. He is gonna just like leave and it's done. We go to different schools, like I'm never gonna see him again. But on his last day working there, we closed together and we like locked doors, went outside and everything. And then before we left, he was like, so remember how you owe me? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. And he was like, well, you're gonna owe me a date. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And yeah, I was so beyond happy. Like I was over the moon, excited, just like ecstatic. And yeah, so he asked me on a date then, and then it was summertime. So then it actually took a little while before we actually went on our first date. We went on our first date towards the end of June, so it was like almost a month after he had asked me out before we actually went. And it was like a double date. He had invited one of his friends and they had invited somebody, and we had a little picnic at the park. And then we went to this little like fun center thing and we did bowling and go-karts and laser tag and all that stuff. It was really fun. And then even after we were done at the fun center, whatever, he came back to my house and we watched a movie. And like it was just a really like long date. He seemed to really enjoy it and like he didn't want to leave. His friends actually didn't come and watch the movie with us. It was just him and I. But then like when I was walking back to his car at the end of the night, I totally thought he was gonna kiss me and he didn't. And so then of course, you know, I'm like overthinking things again and I'm like, oh, he doesn't like me, you know. Anyway, And then we really didn't go out again for a while, and he would still text me and like we'd flirt. And I remember very specifically one time he sent me a picture of a sunset and he said the only thing missing is you, and I like was freaking out. It was just like so romantic and I really liked it, but then I was just confused as to why he wasn't really asking me out again. So then in August, I decided that I was going to ask him on a date, and I asked him if he would go to this amusement park with me, and he said yes, and we went, and everything was great. I had a really fun time again, and he seemed to really enjoy it as well. But then again, he didn't kiss me at the end of the date, and I was just like, what's going on? Like, does he not like me? Because I was really crazy about him, like really crazy. I really liked him a lot. Anyway, the end of the summer rolls around, and guess who comes back to work at the same sandwich shop that I was working at? Him. And I was like, okay, this could be really good and this could be really bad, because now we've already gone on a couple dates, but like it wasn't like, I don't know, at that point if we just like stopped, I think things would have been fine. We could have gone back to just being like friendly coworkers and everything would have been fine, but we didn't choose to take that route. And anyway, so he comes back to work, we start working together a ton again, start back into our old patterns of staying after super late to talk and spending all this time together while at work. And I just really didn't know what to think. I didn't know if he was interested in me or not, if now he didn't want to date me because we worked together, or if he really just liked me as a friend. I really didn't know what was going on. But then he asked me to homecoming, and I was like, oh, okay, he likes me, like this is real. Like, he asked me to homecoming, which, you know, he obviously could have asked me as a friend, but I didn't think that that's what it was. So then he asked me to homecoming, and I answered and I said yes, of course, and we actually had our first kiss on that night that I answered him back saying yes. And it wasn't like the most romantic or epic of kisses or anything. Like, we were at work and it was after work, we were standing outside. I don't even remember all of the details, but we kissed and it was awesome. And he was actually only my second person I've ever kissed, so I was very excited about it and everything. And then, yeah, that's kind of the whole start of it. After that, we went to homecoming together and things just really picked up from there. We started hanging out a lot, even outside of work. We still worked together often, and so we got to spend all that time together there, but then we'd hang out a lot outside of work as well, and so we were seeing each other a lot. And I just like, I honestly, like, I think I fell in love with him like really, really quickly. But at the same time, it's like hard because I didn't really know what love was at that time, so I don't really know if you could classify it as that early on, but I felt like I was in love, and I would have said it really early. But anyway, so we were spending all this time together, like 5 out of the 7 days of the week we'd see each other, and I was like totally ready for us to be committed, to be exclusive, whatever, and he didn't want to put a label on it. He really believed that you shouldn't have a serious relationship in high school, that you should wait until you graduate, blah blah blah. And so he just like really didn't want to put a label on it, but I was like, okay, we literally see each other almost every day, and I know you're not dating anybody else, I'm not dating anybody else, you're my boyfriend, just admit it. And he wouldn't admit it for the longest freaking time. And we would like go to each other's family parties. We like spent Christmas with each other. Like, we went to each other's family Christmas parties. It was intense. Like, we were in a relationship and he just didn't want to admit it. I'm not going to tell you the story of how he actually asked me to be his girlfriend because it's very complicated and a whole story time on its own, and it's one of the reasons that I hate New Year's Eve with a burning passion. But anyway, I'll tell that whole story time another time probably. But anyway, he eventually gave in, asked me to be his girlfriend, and we were exclusive. And then we dated for a long time. We dated seriously that whole rest of that school year, which would have been my junior year, his senior year. and that entire summer. But he had signed up to join the Air Force, and he was going to be leaving for basic training at the end of that summer. So I had known that this is what his plan was and what he was going to do, like the whole time we've been dating basically. I still had my whole senior year, but he had graduated a year before me, and so he was leaving at the end of the summer. But we spent the whole summer together, like every single day basically. We were very serious together, very in love. But yeah, then he left for basic training, and we decided to stay together and try and be long distance. And I am going to do a whole other story time on my experience being in a long distance relationship, because it was all very crazy and there's a lot of drama and things that went on with that. So yeah, but that is the story of my first love, my first like real relationship. I had been in another little relationship prior to that, but I don't know how much it really counts because it was kind of weird. But yeah, that was my first love. It was crazy and wild and kind of epic. I learned so much from the whole experience, and yeah, this is good and bad, and there's my little story. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do, and please subscribe. It doesn't hurt you at all, but it helps me a lot, and I would really appreciate your support. I do post a new video every Thursday, and you don't want to miss any of those. You can also follow me on my Instagram. It is at Carissa_Barker, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!
I've been around, you've stayed away. Oh, I won't let it show. You gotta hold on.